Hello everyone, casual boxing fan here, and it looks like the rematch with Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua is happening. Anthony Joshua said he wants it, so it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when and where. Andy Ruiz obviously wants the fight to take place in maybe California, maybe back in New York. Joshua seems like he wants it back in the UK, so they're going to have to thrash the details out on that. But ultimately, the fight will go wherever makes the most money, because fighters want to line their pockets, promoters want to line their pockets. I feel that I don't know if I was Anthony Joshua if I would have took this rematch. And the reason why I say that is because during the fight, he wasn't hit with a lucky punch. He wasn't caught with, he wasn't winning the fight, then just got stopped, or it was a premature stop. There was no controversy to the fight. He was just outboxed, outfought, outworked. So in 6 months, can Anthony Joshua really improve? Can he really get that much better to the point of where he's going to be able to beat Andy Ruiz flawlessly? I don't think so. Obviously, he's sticking with Rob McCracken, his trainer. I don't know how good of a move that is. I think maybe he's gone as far as he can go with Rob McCracken, especially if he's looking to be a more defensive fighter, a fighter that is more reliant on his defensive abilities. Because Rob McCracken as a fighter wasn't very defensive himself. And then his best fighter, I think, is Carl Froch, who's not really a great defensive fighter either. So, in the pro games, obviously he was a good, I think he was the GB amateur coach, which by all means is good. But those guys are already established. By the time you're getting them to go into the Olympics, those guys' styles are already established by their own gyms in their own areas. So all you're really looking to do is just create a routine for them and an environment for them to train. But for Joshua, I really do think maybe a change of trainer, a change of location, just to freshen things up. It's not reactionary. It's more or less if something's gone wrong here and let's do the best to rectify it. I feel that, as a fighter, you always have to be willing to adapt and adjust to new situations. And that's what I think Joshua has to do. Because at the end of the day, with the Ruiz fight, he got beat. He got beat fair and square. He got dominated and he got stopped. He got knocked down 4 times. In all honesty, it looked like he quit. And that's a bit embarrassing, it really is. He has to try something different. He can't keep doing the things because they worked in the past. He's got to try something a little different. Because has he improved defensively since maybe, I think the Dylan White fight was the first time he ever got hurt. Has he improved defensively since then? I personally don't think so. I think offensively, he looks good. I think offensively he's improved. But I don't think he's improved defensively. And that's the improvements he needs to make. So maybe, looking to change things up. Maybe do some work with a guy like Jonathan Banks or Virgil Hunter. Just someone a bit different, Someone where, I'm not saying he has to leave Rob McCracken to do that, but maybe go to one of these guys for a period of time. Look, Andy Ruiz himself, changed trainers when things didn't go his way. He used to work with Abel Sanchez, now he works with Manny Robles. So he's obviously switched things up and changed things to try and get the best out of him he can get. And I think Joshua may have to do the same. Because this rematch will take place in November probably? Maybe December, depending. And how much better of a boxer can you get in 6 months? Is he going to be able to improve in all those flaws that he made in the first fight, in the second fight? And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, but Joshua had, an injury, he had this, or he was concussed, or that. But those things don't matter. It's the same thing I said when Wilder fought Fury. And Wilder came out with some bullshit, like he broke his hand 2 weeks before the fight, or some shit like that. I just dismissed that straight off the bat. I know a lot of people used it as an excuse. I remember it was quite funny. And now Joshua fans are doing the same thing. It just goes to show you, when you're a fan of a fighter, you really will look for anything. For me, there's no excuses for why Joshua shouldn't have won this fight. There really wasn't. You have to be... No camp is perfect for a boxer. No camp is perfect for a fighter. Sometimes you're going to get hurt. Sometimes you're going to get stopped in sparring because you just spar so many rounds. But ultimately, when it comes down to in the ring and on that night, you have to show up and you have to fight the best you can fight. And Andy Ruiz showed up and he put it on Joshua. He got up on the canvas and he kept chugging forward. So Anthony Joshua's really going to have to take a hard look at himself and decide, how can he best adjust to this fight? Obviously he's going to stay with McCracken. He's going to stay where he earned. He's going to keep everything the same and hope that the first fight with Ruiz was just an off night and that the second fight will be totally different. I'm not as confident that it will be. If he doesn't make drastic changes, I don't think it will be any different because he just made errors in that fight that I feel like he'll make in a second fight. I just feel like you're not going to get those bad habits out of him in 6 months. I really don't. I feel you need about a year or two to refresh him, to really work him back up to that level. And I know a lot of people will go, well, that will give Wild and that will give Ruiz a chance to unify or for them to do their own little thing, maybe freeze Joshua out. But Joshua has to realize his career will go on as long as he allows it to flourish. And sometimes allowing your career to flourish means stepping back, much like Klitschko, much like Lennox did, and having that intermediate period where they build up their style, they work it up, and they try to elevate themselves. Just rushing back in the ring isn't always the best choice because 2 defeats back-to-back could be detrimental to Joshua's career, detrimental to his confidence, and it could end his career. You know, so he has to be careful. He has to make sure he makes the right decisions. As for Andy Ruiz, he's riding high. You know, he's a new celebrity. He's going to make a lot of money. You know, so good luck to the guy. You know, he's a great fighter. He caused one of the biggest upsets we've seen in a very long time. And he went to show that just because of you look one way or, you know, you're a bit chubby or you're a bit fat or you've got a big head or you've got a small head or you can't punch or you can punch, no one should ever be underestimated because in that ring, literally anything can happen. And that's what Ruiz proved. So, the rematch is on. Obviously, Ruiz is talking a big game now. He's talking about he wants 40 million and stuff like that. I doubt stuff like that will happen, but you never know in boxing. Boxing's a funny sport, but the business side of things will be brushed out. It'll be handled the way it needs to be. Leave that to Eddie Hearn and Ali, even, innit? But hopefully, the rematch will be just as good as fight as the first one, but we'll have to wait to see. Thank you all for listening. This has been the Casual Boxing Fan.